I was in Abuja on Friday for a very exclusive meeting somewhere. It was a beautiful coincidence. That meeting had been scheduled 5, 6 months ago, so it wasn't because of what's happening presently, but it was a very good coincidence. And in that meeting were widows and missionaries, widows of Christians in the north that have been, their husbands were slaughtered. They just asked one or two of us in the southwest to come, and they'd asked since. I didn't want to even go because of my schedule. I just flipped on Thursday. I said, okay, let me just fly in. But I'm grateful I went. And sitting down, it was not an easy experience for me. I can't forget it forever, especially because I'm a pastor. I saw the widows there, drawn from Kebbi State, Niger State, different parts of the north, to share their life stories. I was actually almost cautioning them because they had to talk about their husbands, what happened to their husband. Just a few of them, not all of them. And most of them were the wives of pastors. And on Friday, they mentioned to us that, at least from the data collected across, 5,000 pastors have been murdered. Not Christians, pastors. But the moment they hear that you're a pastor, that's it. Different stories. One of the women came. They were in church. About 100 of them were, of course, they surrounded the church building, separated the women from the men, and they told the women to relax. We will convert you to this religion and we'll marry you, but your men are going to die. And of course, the pastor was part of them. They took them somewhere where some of them escaped, but the pastor couldn't escape. So the wife said when they were leaving that place, they was asking for my husband, and they just didn't answer. By the time she stepped out, she saw her husband on the floor, butchered, cut to pieces. Was crying. And it was painful because you're hearing stories of 2023 and 2012, 2020 and 2025. Another one from Southern Kaduna was sharing a story. There were a lot of them there. A lot. It was a lot. How the husband is a pastor also, and they farm. And they went to farm. Of course, they kidnapped him from the farm. They asked for ransom, the 10 million, paid monies. And they told the secretary of the church to come and pick them after dropping the ransom. And as they were going, they told the pastor to turn back, and they shot him. A lot of stories like that. A lot of stories of even after ransom had been taken, they just killed the pastors. It got to me because the difference is that I'm in Southwest as a pastor. And many of them have children, 5 kids, 3 kids, and we had to ask questions about those children. Thank God for a family worship center in Abuja that they're providing scholarships and many support, but we also want to seriously partner, especially for those children. The stories were bad. The missionaries there, and these were Fulani missionaries, also sharing their work deep, how the bandits come. Villages that don't really have electricity. When bandits are coming in with motorcycles, it lights up to help you understand how many come in, and all their headlamp on. The entire village comes alive because of the light. And then the readings. And then the separation of, this and that. And now people run into the forest with a baby. And now pastors are slaughtered. Just killing someone like an animal. It was about a 4-hour meeting. They told us to be patient. We flew in that morning and flew back in the evening. That we should be patient so we can hear everything. So there's nothing to hide. And it covered the entire, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And I mentioned when I was asked to talk a bit, I said, well, first I have to apologize on behalf of the Southwest Christians but the challenge is we don't know what's happening. I told them we don't know. I mean, we hear things on the news. What you are seeing in the news are trickles. Too small. Maybe it's hidden. Maybe they don't get it out. But we don't know. If we knew, maybe we would have reacted better. Maybe. So I apologize on behalf of Southwest. And I also now mentioned, of course, how some Chibok mothers came to our church and the little were able to, just encouraging. But these ones are widows, like really out. They have to move them out of those places. Those stories are not too good. So I apologize on behalf of Southwest. We made some kind of commitments. But I said something. When King Herod picked James the apostle and killed, he saw that it was exciting to the enemies of the Jews. He now proceeded further and picked Apostle Peter. And then prayers were made. And I said, well, as much as we are also praying for the north, southwest should be careful. That doesn't get here. Some years ago, what we were hearing was Borno State, Katsina State. Now you are hearing Kwara State. That's very dangerous. Kogi State, Plateau is ravaged. So there has to be a pushback. There has to be a kind of pushback. How the rescue, I'm not even sure the government has capacity to manage the complexities of the details we had. It's beyond the government. A lot of things are in the mix. I think the country is at a critical phase, and we have to pray that God helps to manage that phase. That doesn't get worse. But there is need for rescue, believe me. There's need for rescue. It's so painful to see your wife in the morning or your husband in the morning, and then by 3 p.m. you can't see him again. And then when they were, they laughed at me a bit because when people are coming up, the figures they mentioned to them, yeah, you look at this person, where would this person get this money from? He's a farmer, you can see the farm. And then you hear $2,000. You hear, no, not $2,000, no. You hear 10 million, you hear 15 million. And then these people still go all around and get the monies. From where? And you still kill the person. One of them said, my husband said, I'm not just a Christian, I'm a pastor. Because they already caught him in the farm. Are you a Christian? Yes. I'm not just a Christian, I'm a pastor. He told them categorically. And they took him away. And that was the last. Later you see the bodies.